everybody. Welcome to another week in Sports Talk. It's bonus hours I was going to say all week. It's not bonus hours all week. We got a short week this week. You get 4 days of us with bonus hours. School is out for the University of Oregon, so we are on summer vacation with Duck Insider. You're going to get this show for 2 hours most days. Tomorrow, Joe Fish will be taking over the first hour. I'll take over the second hour of it. I had a meeting that didn't want to reschedule, so we'll have that, and Mr. Fish will come in and give you all of his thoughts on the weekend that was. Have you ever gotten everything that you wanted and still find yourself disappointed with the result?
I can't really say that I have. I'm usually pretty satisfied with very, very little things.
Okay, so this week, we talked about this all last week. I think you and I were evenly on the same side of all of these competitions that we saw. We had the USA getting a big win on Friday night. They beat the hell out of Paraguay, and we're like, yeah! Now, what did you do during the game? What was your way of taking in that entertainment?
I took a nap.
You took a nap during the game. I looked at the score and went, cool. Then I went back, looked at the goals, and I went, oh. But we got exactly what we wanted. USA, we both have agreed that we will jump on the bandwagon. You keep pretending that you care about soccer, which taking a nap, real quick, what was the score when you fell asleep for your nap?
2-0.
I thought you fell asleep before the first goal.
No, it was. I went back. It was 2-0.
Okay. Either way, not that big of a lead.
It was after Balogun's first goal.
Okay. So you lied to me this morning. But either way, you fell asleep early in that contest. It was not late. You didn't go, oh, we're up 4-1. And
we were ahead 3-0
moments
in the 45th minute, so...
But you fell asleep before that.
I was out before the 45th.
Perfect. Okay, so you slept through it. I did exactly what I promised, which was I'm not going to watch the match. I will keep an eye on it. If the USA continues to win, you and I are both agreeing that we'll jump onto the bandwagon. So we got that. There's not another game until, tomorrow or the next day? When does the U.S. play again? Look, this is Casey, ladies and gentlemen. If you're not watching us on YouTube, I ask him any simple question that somebody that claims to care about the World Cup should know, and he immediately looks to the screen and go, yeah, when do they play? Every trap that I lay for you to see if you're an actual World Cup fan, you prove that you are not. So when do they play?
Is it the knockout stage yet?
Do
I have to worry about us going home yet?
Don't give me that. When do they play next?
Friday.
Okay. They don't play till Friday. So we have to wait all week for them to play another game. So it's a week between content. Okay. That's disappointing. So we got to win. Now we have to wait. You and I both wanted the Carolina Hurricanes to win the Stanley Cup.
I know we said that we wanted it in 7 games.
Of course we wanted it in 7, and that's the thing that I'm lamenting today. We both wanted the Knicks to win. They win in Game 5. The Hurricane win in Game 6. Now we don't have anything. We've got baseball. It's fantastic to check in and see how many minor league home runs your catcher has hit while you're waiting for him to come back. It's awesome to see how the new team you're going to be rooting for after they win the postseason, they can still win even without your favorite player whose jersey you're wearing today.
Yes,
all of
sir.
that is great. We are a long way from baseball getting to the culmination.
You don't want to hear about Julio Rodriguez giving the rest of his team superlatives?
Hey, all of that is fantastic. We have not even made it to the All-Star break yet. So it's going to be a stretch to say that we're excited about baseball. You went from finals matchups that were as good as they could have been. The Hurricanes and the Golden Knights played some epic games through the first 4 or 5 games. Everyone is comebacks, and you have these overtime goals. You've got everything that you would want from it. The finale, 3-0, just womp, womp, womp.
Nice little shutout.
It was great. No, it was lovely. And Brendan Bussey and his fiance's there and the whole thing. And you've got the coach tearing off his shirt and he's still ripped. And he's
recreating a photo of his from 2006.
Which is wonderful. There's one he won as a player. And all of the things around it were great. They went on the road, so there's a little less juice in the place. But hey, congratulations to Tom Dundon and his other team, which of course he's being slammed already. I just listened to the firm, and he's getting crushed because he wasn't super keen on Tiago Splitter being the head coach after proving that he can make it into the play and get into the actual. Who cares about Tiago Splitter? You don't know if he's a good coach. You have no idea.
Well, the issue.
Whatever. I know what the issue was. Well, he's too busy worrying about a Stanley Cup to worry about a coaching search. He just won a championship, and we're dumping on him. Congratulations to Tom Dundon, who will always care about his other team more, and we can hate him for a million reasons, just like we did with Jody Allen in Seattle, who what? Just won a Super Bowl. The terrible owners. All they care about are their other teams who win championships.
That's why
I'm over that.
But no, that's a justified reason to not like them.
You assume that they're not trying to win in both cities?
If you have a brother or a sibling that gets a lot more love and appreciation from your parents than you do, that hurts.
Your parents literally just adopted you. They've been the parent of this other kid for almost a decade, and you just showed up. Nobody's saying that they don't love you. You didn't like your other home because your other parent didn't care about you enough. Now you just got adopted. You're making the same mistake. You're going to get adopted again, punk. You're going to end up in foster care the rest of your life. Just be grateful that you have an owner that can win a championship, and maybe you're next. Maybe you're not, and you can be upset, but can we give it a couple weeks? Maybe? What has he done? He just won a championship in his other sport. He bought your team, which somebody had to, but you hate him already.
Well, he's asleep at the wheel when it comes to this team.
Tiago Splitter was the answer. I'm sorry. Where were the Knicks last year?
Indecision is not a decision.
Where were the Knicks?
Indecision is not a decision.
Where were the Knicks at the end of last season?
Lost in the Eastern Conference Finals?
And then what did they do with their coach?
Got a new one who lost in the Western Conference Finals a few years earlier.
But he just won a championship. Whatever. Do we know that that's a right decision, wrong decision? What? Just give it a little bit of time. Can we? Can we?
You can have both feelings.
No, you cannot. How dare you? How dare you playing devil's advocate? Either way, you get the Knicks, great win. They win on Saturday. And the problem with that game, we'd seen that game 4 times already. Like, can we get a new script? All right, well.
Third quarter, Jalen Brunson.
Knicks look awful. Spurs look good. They're going to run away with this. Oh, they don't want to run away with it. They're only going to get a 14-point lead in the third quarter, 12 in the fourth, whatever it is, and then just as predictable a finish as the Spurs could have possibly had. What was that first half was as abysmal a basketball as you've ever seen. And I was at a birthday party for a friend, and there was enough people there that were watching the game but hadn't been watching basketball. And it was the old, I haven't watched basketball in a long time. This is what it looks like. And I'm like, I'm sorry that this is a game that you had to watch. Like, if you've watched one game in the last 8-10 years, that was not the one to watch. That game was awful. Hockey game was boring. The World Cup game was very lackluster. I want more of all of them this week, though, and we don't get anything except for the World Cup, and it's on Friday. So it's a very unsatisfying weekend where I got everything that I wanted. All of these sports picks that I made, and I don't bet on them, and I'm not flush with cash because of it. There was literally 2 teams left in those 2 sports, and then what am I going to not pick USA? I don't know anything about Paraguayan soccer. But all I know is I got, in all the biggest games, the greatest victory U.S. soccer has ever had. They have never scored 4 goals in a game. They never scored 3.5. Some guy kicked the ball to other people, and they got it every time. Amazing! All of them were kind of boring. You have to admit, none of those games lived up to what you want for the best ever. The first championship in 53 years. Brunson was awesome. There's no question about it. But did anybody get to the fourth quarter and go, Spurs are going to win this one?
I will say, you say you were at a birthday party you watched?
Yeah, we were at a friend's birthday party.
How many Knicks fans were you surrounded with?
Again, there was not a ton of basketball fans. There was a handful. The ages at the party maybe range from 20 to mid-60s.
So I went out to the bars with a few buddies of mine, and when I tell you that I couldn't hear what my buddies were telling next to me, because all of the Knicks fans in the building were deafening.
Sure.
It was a very at least the environment that I was in, it was a very intoxicating environment to just be a part of.
I would have much rather been somewhere like that, but try to tell me that that was a great basketball game by any stretch, or even different from the script that we saw in every other game. Crunch time, I didn't trust anybody on the Spurs.
Yep.
And I was right. Mm-hmm. I trusted Jalen Brunson, who finally had a full game, full great game.
A full
but
4 quarters.
The one thing you're watching is like, is he going to score half of his team's points? And he was very close. When they got to 86, I think he made the free throw.
It also felt like in the first half that he wasn't shooting very much. The Knicks weren't shooting well as a team.
They had like
Jalen
14 points in the first quarter.
And Jalen Brunson had 2 of them. Had 2 of the threes that they had. They were like 2 of 9 or 2 of 11 from the 3 in the first half, and Jalen Brunson had both of them.
Yeah, it was not great. And the hockey game, like I said, was you kept waiting for Vegas, but I think they just ran out of dudes. They were so beat up, it felt like at the end. The better team was Carolina in the series of the season, switching up goaltenders. I mean, it was cool to see that, Frederick Anderson was the second guy to carry the cup around. I'm watching that. But I also think how the difference between winning on the road and winning at home, even with all of the Knicks fans that were in San Antonio, with all of the Carolina fans that showed up to Vegas, would have been cool to see one or both of those win at home. But it also would have been nice to have a couple more games, but not if they were going to be like that. So it's a very weird, I have this very melancholy feel about being dead right about everything that happened over the weekend. There was a very, very big celebration in New York, but dude, those numbers, I don't know if they pan out. Let's talk about, were they celebrated properly? Did New York live up to the expectation of the 53-year drought between championships? When you look at them initially, you go, they did a great job. But let's look a little deeper. We'll do that next. You're listening to that bonus hour of Happy Hour on 105.1 The Fan.
The Fan.
All right, when you think back on this NBA season, what are your big takeaways going to be? I mean, first for me, I look at it and you go, now you've had 8 consecutive years where you've not had repeat champions. Does this mean that parity is real in the NBA? I certainly think it does. You turn around and you look at projections for next year. The Knicks are not the favorite. They're not the second favorite. They're not the third favorite. They are 4th in odds to come back and repeat as champion. The best player on the floor can rotate. I mean, I think that's one of the things that is really good about this. Jalen Brunson went, and it's funny that it's Becky Hammond who made the comment, who was tied to the Spurs organization when she said that you will not see an alpha as a small guard take their team to a championship. That's paraphrased, but she said that a few years ago. It's been brought up again and again because of the run that the Knicks went on to get to the finals. I didn't see it a ton during the finals, but there is plenty of commentary early on in the series where they would show her name hanging up in the rafters in San Antonio. The fact that not only did Jalen Brunson do it at 6'2", but to do it against the Spurs and against a guy that is not just one of the bigs that is out there leading his team, but the biggest of the bigs and the youngest of the bigs and the guy that is the future of the San Antonio Spurs. So that's another thing. Is Victor Wembanyama the best player? Yeah, at times. Is Nikola Jokic the best player in the world? Yeah, at times, in moments. Matchups really do matter. The Spurs were really good against OKC, especially compared to the rest of basketball. Oklahoma City this season had one weakness, and it was the San Antonio Spurs. SGA won his second MVP, and he did a lot of it with sitting in fourth quarters because OKC beat up other teams so badly. And we didn't think they were going to lose more than double-digit games. Like, we thought that they were going to, be in the 8, 9, maybe 10 loss range the way they started the season. Then they played San Antonio for a week and lost 3 out of 4. And it looked really bad. So I think that you have in basketball right now something that's really, really good. You've got parity. I cannot remember the last time we had parity in the NBA. You're going to get Tyrese Halliburton coming back next year. You should have a full, healthy Jason Tatum. The Cleveland Cavaliers, depending on how often James Harden gets arrested, should be another team contending for it. Who knows what happens with Giannis if he stays in the East and goes to Miami. They love to get superstars and then go out and win championships. But I don't even know who wins the East next year. You assume it'll be San Antonio and the Oklahoma City Thunder that will be the final 2 in the West, but there's a lot of pretty good teams in the West. You get Luka healthy for a year. Who knows what LeBron James does? But if you saw the Lakers make a big move this offseason, would you be shocked? I wouldn't. So that's the first thing that I think of kind of immediately in the aftermath of this NBA season is there is parity. That means if you're a franchise out there and you want to go out and make a big swing, things can change pretty quickly. So how much of a move, how much of a swing will the Blazers take? Genuinely, I have no idea. And I'm not going to pretend to be an insider with my ear to the ground and I can hear all these changes making. But if they go out and they take a big swing, they end up with a star player, add it to what they already have in pieces, and you can go and be the healthiest, hottest team at the end of the year, which is really what the Knicks were, right? They weren't the 1 seed. The 1 seed got dispatched pretty early on in the Eastern Conference. They weren't the team that everybody expected to be there at the end, but they were the healthiest and they were the hottest at the end of the year. And they just won a championship. Same thing just happened in football, where the Seahawks were nobody's favorite at the beginning of the year, but they were the healthiest and the hottest at the end of the season. And they were deep enough to be able to weather one of their running backs going down, and luckily had a guy that didn't take full reps all season. And then you put K9 out there and he wins you a championship, mostly on his legs, certainly in the Super Bowl. There's your MVP award. Have a nice time. We can't afford to keep you around. What's going to happen in baseball this year feels like there's a handful of teams that can do it. So if we get more parity across sports, I think it's fantastic. And nobody was more desperate for it than the NBA. Almost a decade, you have to say we're in a parity time in the NBA, yeah?
Probably.
Okay. Can I complain about the celebration that we got from the Knicks?
Go for it.
All of the revelry that was going on in New York, Only 63 arrests? 1 shooting, 4 stabbings. That seems like a lot.
That's kind of light.
I pulled up. Do you know how many stabbings there were in New York last year and how many stabbings there are on an average year in New York City?
I want to know what that's compared to Philly.
Well, but this is just New York City. 5,000 to 5,500 stabbings per year averages out to 14.5 to 15 stabbings per day. Only 4? Come on,
The
Knicks.
Knicks bringing people together.
I know. We went down in stabbings. Only 63 arrests.
Well, isn't that what we want?
Yeah, I suppose so. But I just love that that's what's posted after their celebration. Did you happen to catch the video of the guy chucking the banana into the crowd in Times Square?
And then getting it back?
How does that happen?
The wildest.
Just some guy decides he's going to chuck a boomerang-shaped piece of yellow fruit into the air. Somebody I assume catches it on the other end, chucks it back, lands all the way back right, and the guy catches it on the way back.
It looks like the video is in reverse.
It's
crazy.
I mean, it's what? It's bananas. It was right there for you. I was leaving that for you. Did you happen to catch Rick Brunson's response to is Jalen Brunson the greatest Knick?
Still not better than Patrick Ewing. That's something only a dad would say right there.
That is like, hey, I'm proud of you. You're my kid or whatever. You're no Patrick Ewing. Yeah, you know why, Dad? Your genetics. If I was 7'2" instead of 6'2", imagine how much better than Patrick Ewing I'd be. You big jerk.
I'm sure he ran over and started texting Dylan and Ron Harper real quick.
Where does Jalen Brunson's performance for you? Like, I mean, I know that you're only 24 years old. You're a young man. You didn't watch most of Patrick Ewing's career, but in this moment, that's when stars are made. You get to a closeout game.
He's the greatest New York Knick to ever live, and that should say a lot.
You're saying
coming out of my mouth, that should say a lot. He is the greatest Knick to ever do it.
For those that don't know, nobody loves Carmelo Anthony as much as lowercase loves Carmelo Anthony.
They took his nickname, they took his team, they took his championship. The disrespect to my boy is crazy.
I don't know how you go out and you win the championship. You put the whole team, put it on your back. And he was the one guy that was always ready for the biggest moments in the series. And then to take a closeout game and just take it up a notch was absolutely awesome. It was incredible. The way that the Knicks were able to go into San Antonio, make it feel like a home game. I thought that was something that was you can only do once, right? It's if the Knicks do end up repeating for a championship, if they go and they have 3 or 4 championships in the next 10 years, it's going to remind me of the Red Sox and the Cubs. Or that first one, that breaking the curse, the streak, it's been 53 years since a championship. The next one will not be as special. And to do it in that moment, and to do it against the Giant, do it against the presumed champions, the team that won the Western Conference is for sure to win the championship. Sitting over there just waiting, biding their time, the rest that the Knicks got, knowing that they were watching greatness. Both of those teams had all the talent in the world, and knowing you're going to be the underdog against either one of those teams, and having zero hesitation and going out there and winning, not just winning 4 games in 5 tries, winning every single game with a double-digit deficit. I mean, that is... I don't know. I mean, I'm no Rick Brunson, and I have not watched Jalen Brunson as my son and as the heir apparent to the New York throne. But that is one hell of a performance, and I find it inspiring, and it's something where you look at it and you realize that this league isn't predestined. It's not something where you can go out and just go, hey, you're the biggest, you're the tallest, congratulations, here's the trophy. So to me, it was the whole celebration of basketball was really good. I think it puts basketball in a good light moving forward. The question is now, can the NBA capitalize on it? Can we keep this parity going? Is there going to be somebody in this draft that changes basketball next year? Probably not. I think your offseason is going to be huge. Cooper Flagg was one of those guys. He's transformational. Fine rookie year. Got one Rookie of the Year over Con Knippel, and I know that you're still upset about that. But he had a good rookie season. Did things that
an absolute sham.
You can be as upset about it as you want, but he did things that teenagers have never done. 50 points and back-to-back 40-point games and whatever the accolades were. He's great. What did the Mavericks do? Whole lot of nothing. There is going to be a lot of moving pieces. That's what has me excited. If you're looking at it and going, man, where are these things going to go? Is Tom Dundon willing to make a swing? I would much rather have him go after a player than worry about who the coach is. And part of it is, if you're going to go out and make a big free agent move, do you have them be any part of the coaching search? Do you worry about players first, coach second, or do you worry about getting a coach that's going to help be a draw? I mean, I watch the way that coaches move around in the NBA. Remember who was coaching the Golden State Warriors right up until they were ready to win a championship? Mark Jackson was a really good coach, and they said, thanks, tip of the cap, we'll see you later. They're bringing Steve Kerr, then they start winning. You see a lot of coaching changes, and they just end up, you have a coach there to develop your team, and then you have a coach that moves into it when you're ready to win. We've seen that move multiple times. Kobe early in his career, they're like, well, this guy's got everything that you need. Let's go get Phil Jackson. Bring him in. Win 5 championships in the next however long. So, am I really concerned about the coach? At some point, I will be. At this point, I can wait. What's this roster going to look like? Yeah, but are the coaches in charge of the draft? Do the Blazers have any picks in the draft?
I would hope that a coach maybe has some sort of input on that decision.
Go ahead and take a look at how many picks the Blazers have in this upcoming draft. What do they got? None? No picks? No first, no second? Not that big of a deal to me. Are they going to make any moves? Are they going to make any trades? Are they going to trade some existing pieces they have? Future picks? We'll see. Yeah, you'd want the coach to be a part of that, but you don't have a coach right now. I'm not too worried. I don't think Tiago is the guy. If Chicago goes on to win 6 championships in the next 15 years and Tiago Splitter is a Hall of Fame coach, so be it. I don't see him that way. Do you? Am I that wrong?
I see him as a guy that could steer the ship when, especially right now when everything doesn't look very good.
Yeah, but they're going to hire somebody that has the ability to steer.
Who?
What do you mean who?
Who are they going to hire?
I don't know. List me the best next coaches. How many guys are sitting? Where did you have Tiago Splitter at the beginning of last year when Chauncey Billups went out there in game 1 or after game 1 and got arrested? Where was Tiago Splitter on your list? Was he ready to be a head coach? He fell into it as an interim head coach, not making a big change when you had a pending sale of the team.
So when you have a team that's going through a whole reset, because again, granted, brand new coaches, they go through whole resets as well. That's just
for sure
the pecking order of coaches. But in that first year, he got you 42 wins, and you said that's not good enough?
I don't know that it's not good enough. I don't know that this is the team that you're going to have when you start the season. There is opportunity to go out there and win. If you felt like he was the guy and you wanted to keep him around, you probably would have. Do I know Tiago Splitter well? Did he do better than Chauncey did? Yeah, Chauncey was here for 5 years, and they were tanking as the end of each season went. They're like, oh, I guess we should probably start losing games on purpose. And all of a sudden, everybody was hurt, so we never knew how good of a coach he was. When was the last time we had an actual coach going out and trying to win the game? It was Tiago Splitter. So, yeah, he looked good by comparison, but compared to Chauncey Billups, who ended his tenure in the back of the squad car in FBI handcuffs, is Joe Cronin a great GM? Well, he looks better than the guy that left because they had a toxic work environment because of him. So am I in love with Joe Cronin? If they came in and decided to completely clean house, bring in new management, new everything, hire a new head coach, I'd be fine with it. Is the timeline got to be now? I don't think it does. But, hey, I'm no expert.
Then when's the timeline? Because that's what I'm starting to get sick of a little bit is the timeline's not now. Then when is it for people? You're a week out from the draft. It's only going to get closer to the NBA season.
For sure.
If you're going to keep pushing the goalpost and keep moving it back, when is the time that you make the decision? Hold his feet to the fire finally.
Hold whose feet to the fire finally?
Make the guy make a decision.
Okay. Who's available that you want? Do you want Jeff Van Gundy?
No, I think I would have rather had Tiago Splitter.
Same, but those are the only two names that I've seen. So getting out ahead of it was Mitch Johnson on your radar before he took over in San Antonio?
No, but neither was Joe Mazzulla when he was
Thank you. Yeah, well, because he wasn't going to be your coach because I'm forgetting his name.
Brad Stevens.
No, before that, in Houston, our guy that got
Ime Udoka,
who left under not quite ideal circumstances. Didn't he just take that team to the finals and win Coach of the Year? And then some bad things happening behind the scenes, and Mazzulla stepped in, just won Coach of the Year, and probably has already thrown that trophy away. So I'm not going to pretend that I know who the best, brightest minds are. Same thing happens in the NFL. Was Mike McDonald on your list as this guy's going to be the next great coach? Because he wasn't on mine. Oh, yeah, that guy that went from Michigan to the Ravens to wherever. You really don't know. And sometimes the slam dunk hires feel like they fall flat. So I'm not going to pretend that I know who the next tier, the next 12 guys that you hire one of them, they're going to be great in the NBA. And you hire the wrong guy that's a fit. I remember Monty Williams getting hired by Detroit. They paid him $75 million to go up there. He made it 1 year. He was great in Phoenix. It seemed like a good hire. They're like, they got this young team. They need to go out there. They overpay and get a guy that is gone a year later. JB Bickerstaff just took him to the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference.
Well, but that's not the situation here, because that Tom Dunnan's not overpaying for anyone.
Would you rather have somebody that overpays for somebody that's going to be a bust?
I would rather have someone genuinely steer the ship in the right direction when the optics are continuously terrible.
I guess my point is, I don't think you're steering from the coaching spot right now. It needs to be steered from the top, which is your owner. And if he's not ready to hire a coach, give the man who, again, yesterday won a Stanley Cup, the benefit of the doubt. Is that fair?
For the most part.
Okay. That's where I'm at. If you want him to steer the ship, you don't want him to hire somebody to steer the ship right now. If he's going to take his approach, bringing in Rob Brind'Amour, who was the head coach, and they gave him time to build that team into a championship team, but they made the playoffs every year since they took over ownership, feels like a pretty good resume to me. And Tiago Splitter, if you feel like Chicago's a better spot for you, and you think he's going to go win in Chicago,
I think the Brind'Amour situation is a whole lot more different than what's going on here, because
of course, because you don't know what's going on here.
Brind'Amour's also very beloved by Carolina fans. There's no one other than Damian Lillard that's beloved by Portland fans.
Okay, I will tell you a quick story about a coaching search where I had input. Input might be a stretch. My opinion was asked before the University of Portland hired Terry Porter. Sitting at a house up on the bluff, talking to a bunch of UP grads, one of which had input on the hiring. Asked everybody in the room what they thought. There was a couple different options. Terry Porter came up. Everybody loved the idea of Terry Porter being the coach. Now, being a head basketball coach in college basketball is very different than the NBA. It is not a figurehead position. It is a hustle position. We have to go out, especially for a middling team in a mid-major conference, right? You have Gonzaga, who is the king of the conference, and then you have the rest of college basketball sitting back and going, man, that seems like a pretty sweet spot to be Gonzaga. But if you're below them in that conference, it's how do we keep punching up and try to take out a little bit what they do. Terry Porter was by far the no-brainer of no-brainers for everybody in the room, because the majority of University of Portland fans are also fans of the Blazers. Do you remember how the Terry Porter era went on the bluff?
No, I don't follow UP sports.
Fine. Well, part of the reason you don't, because it didn't go great. And it ended with almost exactly where everybody thought it would, but getting the guy that everybody thinks is a no-brainer oftentimes is not. And if you would have taken that opportunity to go find somebody that was unknown, that was playing for or coaching for a small school that was ready to go out and hustle and use the resources that they had, that money would have been a lot better spent elsewhere. So the public doesn't always know what's best for their team. The average fan does not always know what goes on behind the scenes, and you get a name of somebody that you don't know, a Joe Mazzulla or a Mitch Johnson or somebody that you would not have thought of. somebody that sounds really bad in the introductory press conference, like Nick Sirianni, who I'd never heard of, and everybody thought he should be fired after the opening press conference, wins you a Super Bowl, wins you a whatever it is. So I guess my point is I'm not going to pretend I know what they're looking for because I've never seen Tom Dundon run a full season with the Blazers. I don't know who they're looking for because I don't know who's going to be on their roster. I don't know who the next best mind in basketball is and the guy that's going to be able to relate to whoever the players are, what the style is. I don't want to see Terry Stotts come back, and I don't want it somebody where everybody universally praises. I'd much rather have somebody that is low-key and comes in and you just go, hey, halfway through the season, who is this guy? He's pretty good. So surprise me. Do it whenever you want. You won a championship yesterday. You get my benefit. That's it. All right, let's walk over to the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk and see.
Well, UFC 250 Freedom was this Sunday. And 6 fights brought you 6 knockouts.
That is what I asked for.
That's what you asked for.
I did see a lot of bloodied faces, a lot of standing and punching, it looked like. I did not go back and watch any of the highlights, but I did at least glance at it. And then I quickly realized that even though you gave me a breakdown, I didn't recognize any of the names and any of the consequences of any of the fights.
Again, the fights themselves, they were great.
Okay.
It was a UFC event, pretty standard. What I'm shocked about, the fact that no one's talking about how just random UFC fighters, UFC teams, they were making entrances through the Oval Office.
Were they really? I did not see any of those photos. That is
all
insane.
Was the most wild thing I've ever seen. You had Trump and Dana standing over the top of the White House giving speeches. You had service members all around the crowd supporting, throwing stuff, doing everything. What an event. But Dana White also said that they'll never do that again.
Yeah, the two things that I saw from it, there's the photo of the Brazilian fighter standing on top of the bar with his arms spread. Diego Lopez standing there. And then you have the White House in the background. And I don't care what your politics are. I don't care what you think of UFC or the event. I think we can all agree, what a mullet. Am I right? Like, that thing was sweet. And the other thing was Joe Rogan and his tiny little tie looking like a ring bearer who got into his dad's anabolic steroids. Those were the two things that I took from the thing, with just the tightest collar and the tiniest little tie. Absolutely adorable. So congratulations, UFC. I hope you got everything you wanted from the event.
And for more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Casey Smith from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The home of dirt.
Speaking of things that I know nothing about, do we really think bringing in the federal government is going to speed things up in the Brendan Sorsby action? The Big 12 has officially filed a federal lawsuit against Texas Tech and the Texas Attorney General to maintain the authority to punish quarterback Brendan Sorsby for his gambling violations. Good news on this front is the most important person in this whole matter has weighed in. Apparently, Coach Deion Sanders does not think that you should be able to gamble in sports.
Thank God.
So we've got that, so I don't know why we need to bring in the federal government, but apparently we still do. This is a case that is going to drag on and on and on, it feels like. The only way that the Big 12 would do this, they have to have some information, I would think, that there's going to be a way to file this lawsuit and create a way where he's not able to play in game 3, I guess. He's going to be suspended for the first 2 games based on the hearing out of Lubbock, Texas, which would, of course, be Abilene Christian and Oregon State. Then, as he gets into league play, the Big 12, I assume, is trying to figure out a way that they can get ahead of it and get him suspended by the time we get into September and games that matter. My question is, why is Texas Tech taking on this fight? Even if you win, let's say you go out there and you get Brendan Sorsby eligible to play, and you are able to play him for most of the season. Let's say you even get to play into the college football playoff. Let's say you win a championship. Would that not be the most stained accomplishment in the history of sport? It would be like the Black Sox winning the World Series, getting to keep the trophy, and celebrating the fact that they also made a ton of money for the gamblers because they lost enough games in the right way and then won, and that goes on the plaque. At this point, they have no allegiance to Brendan Sorsby. They put out that very, very, very stupid 20-minute video on Friday where you had all the big important people at Texas Tech come out and defend that they're standing by their student athletes. Let's say you win this whole thing. What does it do for college football moving forward? What precedent does this set? So I'm hoping, and I assume that the Big 12 knows what they're doing. They don't bother going down this if the federal government is not going to get around to making any action on this lawsuit until next March. You would think that they would go and figure out what they can get done, how quickly they can get it done, how easily they can go to the federal court and shut this whole thing down. But Texas Tech, save face. Just go, all right, yep, I get it. We're done. Can we just move on from this? I cannot picture a scenario in which they go and get this kid on the field that anybody feels good about it. Working on the button. You look like you had something to say.
No, I was just more of agreeing with you on that one.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to actually agree with me. It makes me feel good when I can actually hear you say the words that I agree with you.
I agree with you.
But where's the win for Texas Tech in this? Getting on the field and winning football games is not a win. There's no way where I see it as we've done well for ourselves, our sport, our school. No way do you go out there and go, ha ha, we win. Especially if you win. I think it's even worse if you go. I
really don't think there's a way that Texas Tech can be the good guys. I think they have to just dig in and be villains.
Yeah, but if you keep the black hat on, and like I said, you go out and you win, now you've set a precedent where this is going to happen in other schools, or there's a potential of it happening, or you just have this long, drawn-out fight where it goes on forever and it's a constant back and forth, which is kind of feels like where we're going to go. But if you go out there and Brendan Sorsby plays lights out, and you can go, haha, rules don't matter to us, and flaunt it in everybody's face, you're only going to become more entrenched as a villain. If you stand by this kid and he goes out and plays mediocre football and you win a couple games, lose a couple games, you haven't really gained anything. And if you go out there and he plays awful, then you look even dumber than you do now. So first of all, I don't know that he's that good that you're a shoo-in to win this whole thing if you have him. The difference between him and the next best guy, I can't imagine, is a drop-off so outrageous that the multi-million-dollar defensive front and the multi-million dollars that you've spent on skill position is going to drop that much that you can't win the Big 12 without him.
I just see them kind of just as choosing what type of villain they want to be. Because, there's the black hat villain who's going to stare you down at sundown and, get into a shootout with you. There's the bumbling idiot who keeps making mistakes over and over again, and you start to feel bad for them. There's different types of archetypes of villain that they could start to choose from.
But if they were to go just right now and just go, you know what? Our bad. Our bad. You know what? We'll wait and see how this pans out. We'll still support the kid. We'll let him be around the team, whatever. We can put him on, but we're not going to play him until we get something back. I think there's a balance that we have to walk. They can do that now and then get into the season and everybody can collectively exhale right now. But instead, they're going to let this tension go up to it. But again, if he gets on the field and wins, nobody's going to be, oh, well, hey, they got us in the courts and they're getting us on the field. Congratulations, Texas Tech. All you're going to do is alienate the rest of the sport, which, last time I checked, makes your university a fair amount of money. So I guess what's the win? If they go out there and they win in the court, they've already technically punted on that, so they've kind of got their little win now. But if they go out and actually win football games, what does that do?
Maybe that is the win. You
it.
Didn't make me spend a bunch of money that we didn't have. We got to keep our money, we got to keep our football, and we got to be the villains at the height of this media train. Okay. Cool, I'm all for it.
All right.
It puts a lot
that's what they want to do.
Whether it's good or bad spotlight, it puts a lot of spotlight on the program in the way that we talk about Texas Tech now more than we've talked about Texas football.
Sure, but can you imagine the coaches going into somebody's living room or going into the transfer portal and go, hey, I know that you're a pretty good high school football player, but imagine if you didn't have to follow any rules. Come on down.
But I want to reiterate that. We have talked about Texas Tech.
Sure.
More than we have talked about the Texas Longhorns.
Name another player on Texas Tech's roster other than Brendan Sorsby.
I can't.
Yeah. But talking about, I get that all press is good press. First of all, I've never really believed that. And this is a meritocracy where you can go out and prove your value. If Lane Kiffin is insufferable and is saying that they would have won, Ole Miss would have won if he stayed and coached them in the playoff, and that he's taking his coaches from schools in the middle of the recruiting cycle, and he's a villain for that reason. Well, if they go out and win, fine, but they're not winning in the courts. They're not flaunting the Lubbock, what is he, Attorney General or whatever of Texas or whoever it is that's putting this up to be an affront to the sport where we're passing gambling laws. This is just a trash-talking coach who's always been that way, who's going to take every advantage he can in recruiting. This is not going through the courts to overturn one of the sacred rules of sport. That's where the difference is. There's plenty of villains in this sport, and I think they're happy to have that role. Kiffin's an easy one to point to. I think you can look around the sport and find plenty of other guys. Curt Cignetti does
Kiffin's
a very good job.
By personality, not action.
Well, he's both. His actions definitely live up to. By personality, Curt Cignetti is that way. I don't think that they're doing anything.
By action, other than leaving the school for a better job, what has he done that has rubbed people the wrong way?
I think it's the way that he's pulled in his coaching staff and doing all of that.
Personality is what bugs you.
No.
His actions don't necessarily bug you. It's how he approaches everything.
The action of leaving your school as they go into the playoff is pretty egregious. As a head coach, as somebody that's there, just think of the promises that he made to the players on the roster and their families to get that Ole Miss team where it was.
No, a college football coach took a better job at a higher school with more money? Are we crazy?
It's not that he did it; it's when he did it.
So you don't like the personality.
That's not personality. His personality is actually kind of funny. That's the personality
because that's how he went about it. That's not the action in itself. That's how he went about the action.
Well, yes, but what? Now I'm very confused. An action is how you go about doing
action,
something.
Again, him leaving the school. That's what people are pissed about.
Of course.
They're not pissed about when, because he was going to leave
Yes.
regardless.
Well, yeah, but if he stayed and coached the team, and then he says that
And
if
then
he would have
leaves?
stayed, yes,
Is
if
the
they
sentiment the same?
yeah,
Are people just as angry if he leaves a game after?
no, I don't think they are. Because they are sitting there with an opportunity to win a national championship. I don't know how many Ole Miss national championships are floating around out there, but this is a school that had believed in Lane Kiffin for however long.
So you're not pissed about Lane Kiffin leaving. You're pissed about
When he left.
How Lane Kiffin
when and
approaches
how
person.
when and how he left. The
Again,
timing matters.
You're attacking the person, not the action.
What is the action?
The action is him leaving for a better job.
Yes, but leaving.
When have we
after
ever, when have we
leaving
ever
after the
crucified anyone for taking a better job?
Is there not a difference between leaving after the season and leaving before the postseason starts?
You're pissed at the man, not the action.
The action is leaving before the postseason starts. If
So you're
if Mike
angry
Tomlin,
at the man, not the action.
okay, let's break it down. What is the action?
Him leaving the school for a better job.
When did he take that action?
What I'm telling you is,
I understand what you're
doesn't
trying
matter.
to tell me. Yes, what I'm telling you is when very much matters. Mike Tomlin resigning as the Steelers head coach after the season is very different than him doing it like in week 10. Him going into the postseason and go, yeah, we're not going to win anyways. I'm out. And then taking another job and saying, well, if I'd have stayed, we probably would have won the Super Bowl. That's literally what Lane Kiffin did.
Again, so if Ole Miss isn't in the playoff, if
Yeah,
Ole Miss
and he
is
leaves,
just
fine.
regular Ole Miss,
The season is over and you leave, whatever. That happens every day. When was the last time a major college coach left before his team's season was over without being fired to take another job? That's the action. He left while they were not only still playing, but literally contending for a national championship.
again, I think people have a much bigger issue with him leaving in itself, not necessarily when or the timing of it. I think people have more of an issue of him leaving versus.
Would disagree. Everybody leaves. Name another coach.
Then, again, like I said.
Yeah.
Not
the
then
man.
We can disagree.
We certainly can, and I believe we have disagreed. I think we've made it very clear that you and I are not on the same page with this. But just so you know, I'm correct. We will do one more bonus hour segment. It will be very short, and we'll get into the normal shenanigans. You're listening to a bonus hour of Happy Hour on 105.1 The Fan. Lowercase, who's a great wide receiver for the Baltimore Ravens? Derek Mason, Steve Smith. Like, give me a guy that just always got under your skin?
Todd Heap.
Todd Heap makes a catch, and Troy Polamalu comes up and just lights him up. You love that?
Yes and no.
No. I mean, okay. Goes to make a catch.
Yes.
Gets creamed by Troy Polamalu.
Because I'm going to assume that means that the Steelers blitz the linebackers and that Todd Heap isn't just going free through the secondary.
No, but just a great hit by Troy Polamalu. If it happens before the whistle, great hit. If it happens after the whistle,
you forget that I'm a Steelers fan.
No, I don't. It's a penalty, right? So it matters when it happens. Now let's say Todd Heap is at his wedding and about to say his vows, and here comes Troy Polamalu and just lights him up. When he lights him up matters. Difference between a great football player, almost a great play, and what on earth are you doing? Just saying when matters. The action is justifiable in a lot of situations. When the action takes place makes a difference.
Sure.
Okay. Does it not?
Sure. Believe what you want to believe.
If that doesn't illustrate the point, I don't know what we'll get through to you, but maybe you just love Lane Kiffin, the man, the actions, and the timing.
It's just more of, why are we surprised that people in college football and continuously they choose to make the bad decision?
Well, again, this is
because they want to.
That I won't disagree with you on, but at what point do you look in the mirror and just go, guys, we just made a 20-minute video trying to explain ourselves, did a terrible job. We now have a federal lawsuit from our own conference against us. At what point will somebody just go, I think we're wrong here? And will it ever be Texas Tech?
No, they will never. They will never admit to being bad people because no one wants to admit that they're wrong.
Just never gonna blink. Oy vey. All right. Well, hey, we will blink again right here. We will go. You may be one of those people too. Todd Heap gets lit up at his own wedding by Troy Polamalu.
That can go both ways here, pal.
All right, we move on to the normal shenanigans of our happy hour. We do it next. It's happy hour, bonus hour on 105.1 and the Fan Sports Network.
Portland Perks. Looking for some...
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, if you missed it over the weekend, the New York Knicks became NBA champions after defeating the San Antonio Spurs Saturday, 94-90, clinching the Larry O'Brien Trophy for the first time in 53 years. Jalen Brunson was named the Finals MVP after an elite Finals performance run as he finished with 45 points in Game 5 to cement himself as an NBA champion. Over in the NHL, as Tom Dundon's Carolina Hurricanes became your Stanley Cup Finals champions last night as they defeated the Vegas Golden Knights 3-0 in Game 6 to clinch the Cup for the second time in franchise history. Hurricanes captain Jordan Staal was awarded the Conn Smythe Trophy, becoming the oldest player to win the MVP in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Over to the WNBA as your Portland Fire are back in action on the road tonight, taking on Courtney Williams and the Minnesota Lynx. Tip-off set for 5 p.m., but make sure to catch all of tonight's coverage over on 9:10 a.m. when pregame tips off at 4:45. And finally, some NFL news for you as the New York Jets and right guard Joe Tippmann have agreed to a 4-year, $62 million contract extension. That includes $31 million in guarantees as Tippmann enters his final year of his rookie contract. And for more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm lowercase from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
The home of the Fan Happy.
Groove. No better way to say happy Tapas Day to all our beautiful radio listeners. Thank you for dropping in on our normally scheduled happy hour. Hope you enjoyed the bonus hour as well. We appreciate you listening. If you're watching us on YouTube, here is a hand gesture just for you. You're welcome. If you're listening on the radio through 105.1 FM, 1080 AM, online at 1051thefan.com, Odyssey.com, the Odyssey app, or you ask your smart speaker, what do we do now that the NBA and NHL are done? And this is what you got. Use the fan text line. It's 503-2GO-FAN. That's 503-864-6326. Use it. Use the text line. Use the chat to share your thoughts, ask questions, solicit advice, or answer me this, dear listeners. Do you have a favorite moment of the World Cup so far? Lowercase, obviously the nap that you took during the U.S.'s win.
Very solid nap.
I will say, I'm a huge, huge fan of naps, and when you told me you did that over soccer, I would rank naps ahead of international sporting events that I do not love the sport. So you made me proud Friday evening. I didn't even know you did it. That was one of those
couch naps where you wake up sweating.
Yeah, you do. You're like, how did I get so comfortable and so buried into this couch that everything is moist around me? I'm with you. I got you. Do you have a favorite moment so far? I will take the U.S. victory off the board. Do you have a favorite moment of the World Cup so far?
Probably Mexico's win.
Okay.
Mexico's win was really fun to watch.
Yeah.
It was a good start to the World Cup.
Well, I got a little dose of the World Baseball Classic mixed in with the World Cup, and this was a combination of two things happening. Scotland got a win in Boston, I believe, but then they got their bagpipes out, and all the fans did a procession around Fenway Park and then went in to watch the Red Sox game singing whatever song it is that they sing for the Scottish national team.
Super John McGinn.
at the park. I could not tell you if that was a song or not, but there is a moment, if you want to go and find it and watch it, the sound wasn't great, so it was really kind of muffled, but just watching the entire outfield filled with Scotland fans at the baseball game was absolutely epic. That is the one thing that the World Cup provides. I'm not a fan of the sport. The longer the U.S. stays in this thing, the longer run they make, the more excited I will get about the actual sport itself. But seeing the fans from all over congregate and the celebration and just bringing people together is epic. Did you find it?
I've got it if you want it.
Try it. Give it a try. Let me know if this sounds good to you folks out there listening. More American drinking songs.
100%.
The only thing I ever sing is Happy Birthday. That's it. There's no other occasion where I get out. Occasionally I'll do some karaoke.
Well,
but
which Happy Birthday are you singing?
Well, I used to sing the old Happy Birthday. No.
Happy birthday.
No, that is not the one I think. I used to work in a lot of restaurants, so you did the one that is royalty free, the Happy Birthday from all of us. Yeah. That one I used to sing. I don't think we're allowed to sing the other Happy Birthday on these airwaves. Somebody will sue us. But no, other than that, how come there's not a more regular occasion for us to sing something?
I agree.
Whether it's a national anthem or This Land Is My Land or whatever it is.
We burned out Sweet Caroline too much where
thank you.
It got to a point where I think people were done with the singing. We just need better songs.
I don't think you're wrong. You know what? Maybe that's lowercase's big comeback. You know what? Forgive me. Take me out to the ball game. Is one of those, but we need something that is less sports specific and something we can just break into when the U.S. is playing in hockey or soccer or Timbers. The Timbers Army, give them credit. They've got their whole hymn sheet that they bring out there, and that is one thing very cool. I had never thought of it at a baseball game, but the one team out there with all these Scottish fans wearing their kilts and their Red Sox jerseys. It was awesome, and it gave me a little bit of I don't know, feels for it. It was pretty awesome.
Think if Raider fans had a chant like Arsenal or Tottenham fans,
right?
Where they're just screaming at, say, Chiefs or Chargers fans, and that you start to feel that a little bit more when you have a guy that's got a painted face and got spikes on his shoulder pads.
It just adds a little joy to the thing. Instead of fist fighting and knife fighting against your opponents at NFL games, maybe let's come up with a couple things that we can sing. I did genuinely enjoy that. But of course what will happen is I'll go to the games and I won't know the words, and then I'll feel dumb, and then I'll get angry and I'm like, would you get to shut up so we can watch the stupid football game?
Well, have you seen the other guys?
I'm trying to take a nap over here.
Have you seen the other guys?
I'm sure that I have.
That's Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell as cops.
Well, I think of that as Samuel L. Jackson and Dwayne The Rock Johnson as cops. Well, they're real cops.
It's where this comes from.
He's a biracial angel.
Sure.
But the best part of that is when Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg go into the bar and start singing songs.
Sure.
And the songs happen to make no sense, but it's the best part of the movie.
Nor should they. My favorite part is when The Rock and Samuel L. Jackson think they're going to
aim for the bushes,
hit the just miss. I'm like, oh, did not see that coming.
There wasn't even an awning.
No, bad news. Can we do a little in case you missed it? Maybe. There we go. In case you missed it, immediately after the final buzzer, Jalen Brunson showed the ultimate sportsmanship. I don't know if you saw the final moments of the final game of the NBA Finals, but Jalen Brunson, before doing anything, walked right over to Spurs coach Miss Johnson and shook his hand. That is class. You just won your first NBA championship, the team's first in 53 years, and the first thing you do is find the opposing coach. Before celebrating with your team, before finding your family, before you tip the referees. That is class. Great job to that. I don't know if you saw it following the Knicks championship. There was an unexpected reunion from the estranged actors and cast members of Do the Right Thing. There's a photo of Spike Lee, John Turturro, and Giancarlo Esposito all together, and even the people that weren't in the film knew what to do, and I appreciate you, Cam Scadaboo and Tracy Morgan, putting ice on each other's nipples to feel like you're part of the moment. That was classy. Gotta stay cool. Gotta stay cool. In case you missed it, Victor Wembanyama called the finals defeat the biggest lesson of his life and vowed to use the pain of losing as, quote, fuel for his future. So if you're a Spurs fan, you hope he keeps losing so he doesn't run out of gas. Let's go, buddy. Isn't that the time, like if you're Victor Wembanyama, just put your head down, go, we lost, this stinks, and just move on. It's not about you, but here he is making petrol comments. In case you missed it, Cleveland Cavaliers guard James Harden was arrested in Houston and charged with a misdemeanor unlawful carrying an unholstered weapon in plain view in his car. Do you think people who have spent the last decade complaining about the Eurostep get satisfaction knowing that a cop finally penalized him for doing something illegal in plain view? No? Do you think Harden was just upset the violation was non-shooting? No? It's okay, that one works. I saw the mugshot described as haggard looking. Haggard compared to what? His game day look is Kimbo Slice after a nap. Can we really say that? Am I the only one that anytime Harden goes to the free throw line looks for glitter, crumpled dollar bills, and lemon pepper wings in his beard? Is that just... You know who I really feel bad for in all of this? Whoever the cop was that pulled the short straw and had to pat down that mange. Could you imagine digging through that thing? One too many? One too many? And finally, in case you missed it, working as a Fox correspondent at the World Cup in Texas, Jameis Winston joined Japanese fans in their post-match tradition of cleaning up the stadium. Whatever you've thought about Jameis Winston in the past, I think we can all agree that this move makes him a total traitor. Am I right? Like, how dare you team up with... It's one thing to participate in another team's national tradition of fans, but it's a whole nother thing to do something as un-American as cleaning up after yourself. That is unacceptable. No? I liked him better when he was stealing crab legs like a real American. Next thing you know, he's going to be one of those guys returning shopping carts like a Benedict Arnold. I don't want to see any of that.
I return shopping carts.
How dare you? So un-American. I think you're supposed to do that. But Jameis Winston, come on. Stop pretending to be a nice guy. Just eat those W's
Return
and
your
be
shopping
weird.
carts.
All right, don't trash Carmelo Anthony. Don't make fun of returning shopping carts. What's the other one on my list I need to write down? I know there was something else. All right. Thanks to our studio audience. At 2:30, we're going to listen back to some dumb things that we said last week. But right now, we need to get into the Daily Buzz. We've got updates on the Mariners farm system. We've got updates on what's going on around baseball. And, of course, let's take a look at how well Portland State players are doing in the Canadian Football League like we like to do. All that is next in the Daily Buzz. This is Happy Hour on 105.1 The Fan.
The Fan.
Well, Tiago Splitter will not be your head coach for the Portland Trail Blazers next season. The Chicago Bulls are finalizing a deal to make the former interim coach of your local team their new head coach. Splitter seemed to be the right guy for the situation in Chicago. And the whole thing was kind of left alone here in Portland. Tom Dundon saying that he was focused on the Stanley Cup, and I don't remember. Do you recall if he had any assists, goals, or saves in that series? I can't remember. But hey, your new owner just hoisted the Lord Stanley Cup with his team in Carolina, and Chicago goes to take over a guy that went 42-40 and got you to the 7 seed for the Blazers. So congratulations to Chicago. Bummer for Portland. Honestly, I have no idea what this means moving forward. All it means is Splitter will not be your head coach here. To be determined what the Blazers are going to do with their roster, with their front office, or with their coaching staff. So stand by. But we've got the draft in about a week, and I'm guessing with no picks, you're not going to see a whole lot of movement for the Blazers going into the NBA draft either.
The Buzz.
Well, another series loss for the Seattle Mariners. They get into these weekend series and they just lose. And this time it's the Nationals. We talked about this last week. The Nationals are on pace to be the first team ever to have the most runs and give up the most runs in a Major League Baseball season. The series started off with them giving up the most runs, losing 10-2, and then yesterday finished with them getting the most runs, winning 10-1. That lineup, did you watch any of the Nationals over the weekend, Casey? That lineup is kind of gnarly. James Wood at the start of that does not look like he should have such ease of bat to ball with his size. Plays an effortless center field. He is kind of a stud, and he's the leadoff hitter for the team that has scored more runs in the first inning, scored as many or more runs than anybody in all of Major League Baseball. The Nationals basically do what the National League has been doing to the American League all year and wins the series over the Mariners.
The Buzz.
If you're waiting for the Mariners to get healthy and get Cal Raleigh back, well, step in the right direction. 2 more home runs for Cal Raleigh. That is now 5 since he's been in AAA Tacoma, but more injury concerns for the M's at the end of their road trip. You had your first baseman, Josh Naylor, foul a ball off of the side of his shin that looked very, very painful. He stayed in the game. He should be day-to-day, should be fine. And then back pain for Andres Munoz. Maybe the back pain will help him throw strikes. Maybe it won't. But your closer, who was so reliable last year, has been anything but to start this season. And now more injury troubles when you got Matt Brash already on the IL. Things not necessarily looking great, other than the fact that the Mariners are still a game above 500 and a game and a half ahead in first place, thanks to 23 runs put up by the Rockies in another shootout in the desert, and the A's get a loss, which is exactly what the Mariners were hoping for to stay in first place.
The Buzz.
So reports coming out of the New York Mets, teams are expecting Bo Bichette to opt out of his contract after this season. The big free agent signing signed a 3-year, $126 million contract in the offseason, but now he's hitting just .236 with a .644 OPS. And Bo Bichette, the guy that was supposed to make up for some of the production you lost with Pete Alonso, who has been meh in Baltimore, looks like that is not a marriage that is working out the way that they hoped. I wouldn't expect that the Mets are pulling the chute just yet, but, I mean, at some point they're going to have to look at the writing on the wall and go, we're not catching up in this division, in this league. It is looking really bad for one of the teams that I guess is the argument for and against a salary cap. They're willing to spend money, but still can't figure out how to win games. So what on earth do you do with that?
The Buzz.
On the other side of the coin, the Chicago White Sox erased a late deficit of 6 runs in 6 innings with 3 home runs against the Dodgers to win 6-4. Casey, don't look now. Those Chicago White Sox just keep winning baseball games. They're still waiting for Murakami to come back. How are you feeling about you feeling about your new favorite team in baseball right now, my friend?
I'm very worried. It's becoming concerning at this point. I love me some Murakami, but he's not even playing right now.
Dude,
I shouldn't have to worry right
Davis
now.
Martin and their pitching staff is looking good. That team is looking awesome. You know what?
The Buzz.
You know who else is looking really good? Are we seeing the next great flamethrower in baseball? I'll tell you, you get Jacob Misiorowski out there going against Christopher Sanchez, who has been as good as anybody in baseball, and you have the Brewers go out and rough up the other Cy Young leader and get your own pitcher to look that much better over the weekend. Hardest throwing pitcher in baseball as a starter is just going out there and lighting the league on fire. Still only 24 years old. If you have not watched any Brewers baseball this year, do yourself a favor. I know that we all love Paul Skeens, but the next time the rotation comes around to Jacob Misiorowski, you might want to go and watch a little bit of Pat Murphy, his pocket pancakes, and this Brewers team that is looking like they could be the number one overall seed in the NL again, if not near the top.
The Buzz.
All right, last one for you. We brought this up to you last week. It was 12 consecutive victories to start a Canadian Football League career. That has extended for the former Portland State quarterback Davis Alexander. He led the Montreal Alouettes to a 37-30 victory, 13 consecutive regular season wins to start a career. Congratulations. He went 30 of 42 for 441 and 2 touchdowns. He is leading the CFL with 777 yards in just 2 weeks. That feels very much like a lucky number. So congrats to the local kid. Who knows if it ends up being, and when was the last time we had a great quarterback start in the CFL and make their way back to the NFL? Warren Moon's the only one that jumps to mind. I can't think of another guy that kind of went the long way to get home. And I don't know if that's a future, but kind of a fun story with a local angle to it. So something worth keeping an eye on. Casey is efforting.
Nathan Rourke was the last guy who played for the CFL and ended up on an NFL roster. Multiple NFL rosters.
Do we remember Nathan Rourke throwing a pass in the NFL? Well,
we do not.
Here's to Davis Alexander.
Also, the most recent would be Cameron Wake, 5-time Pro Bowler with the Miami Dolphins.
There you go. All right. So wishing you the best of luck on fulfilling all of your football dreams, even as it's just to be the greatest Alouette of all times. Let's walk over to the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk and see what we missed.
First on the Fan, it's the 2026 U.S. Open this week. And here are your clear favorites.
Ooh, here we go.
Rory McIlroy, Scotty Scheffler, Xander Schauffele, John Rahm, Cameron Young, and Matt Fitzpatrick. They will make up your clear favorites for the round, but ESPN has also released a list of the guys who can win.
Okay, let's see. This is where I'm picking from. Give me the names.
That list includes Russell Henley, Ludwig Aberg, Colin Morikawa, Tommy Fleetwood, Chris Gotterup, Patrick Reed, Robert McIntyre, Bryson DeChambeau, Brooks Koepka, Wyndham Clark, Tyrell Hatton, Sam Burns. Again, the list goes on and on.
Well,
and it's pretty much everyone that you think could win it, they can win it. Everyone from Patrick Cantlay to Aaron Rai to J.J. Spawn.
Koepka is one of my favorites, but since the live return, he's had some nice little outings. I think he's tied for the lead going into the weekend at the Canadian RBC Bank Canadian Open or whatever they played over the weekend. So he's looking okay. But give me some Oberg. I like some Ludwig Oberg. That's a guy. He's got kind of a smooth, even keel style. Doesn't seem to get too flustered out there. That'll be my pick. Let's go with some Oberg.
I think I might have to take Tommy Fleetwood.
All right, Tommy Fleetwood's good look
always
too.
Trying me hottest.
That's all you can ask from these guys.
And for more sports scores and stories in 60 minutes, I'm lowercase from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
Your home for the Oregon.
I don't even know if we can make it about this. I think the team will be praised. I don't think there's any question about that. But I think the second thing we might go to is New York City. I mean, it'll be about the Knicks. I don't know it'll be about these Knicks. You're going to get a lot of, Walt Frazier out there and Patrick Ewing and Charles Oakley and Dolan and the long history, and you'll have all of these guys that are there and have these big stories because the Knicks are so chaotic. I just hope the team doesn't get overshadowed because they've been really, really good. I think everybody will get their flowers, but I think that New York will have to share them, which I'm okay with.
Well, after a few days, I know we're still working on giving these Knicks players their flowers because, well, they're NBA champions, and they deserve to be. But have we, over this weekend, started to share the flowers with New York itself rather than focusing on the players?
The game was bizarre because it was just the first half was such terrible basketball. And then it became the Jalen Brunson show. Down the stretch, I honestly think he took the narrative away, even from Wemby, who got a lot of headlines, but it went from Wemby, Spurs to lead everything Brunson, off to Brunson, Knicks, yep. And which a 45-point closeout game to bring the Knicks the championship. The fact that they won on the road, I think, benefits the team in having them get more of the praise. The amount of fans that were there in San Antonio shows you that the Knicks are loud and proud, and everybody's, still supporting the team, the celebrities, all of that was pretty cool.
Again, like you said, you mentioned the entire, pretty much the cast of Do the Right Thing was there.
They for sure were.
They were in San Antonio.
Yeah, no, there was, the amount of orange and blue that was there, it felt like San Antonio as a city and as a team had kind of resigned to the fact they weren't going to win, at least down the stretch. There was never a moment where you felt like somebody was going to step up for the Spurs. And the game went back and forth at the end, but the amount of missed free throws and the amount of possessions that just felt empty where it was a three, the giant clang chucked up by Wembanyama at the end. He missed that last three attempt by 2.5 feet, and luckily for the camera people in the front row, caught just a corner of the backboard beyond the rim. Otherwise, somebody was losing an eye. It was not a great showing for San Antonio across the board. City, fans, whatever it was. Maybe they should have thought about bringing out free T-shirts for that last game too, because it certainly needed something to add some juice. New York owned that series, and so did Jalen Brunson, and I think he earned the flowers that he got. A ton of fun. Here's my question for you, though. Is there a player that you would single out and go, this is all about blank if the Knicks win it all, or is this just a team effort? Because I think this is more about the team that is losing the NBA Finals right now, even maybe more so than it is about the team that is winning it. OG Anunoby has one of the great shots now ever, and I guess you can make it about him. Is he your MVP right now? Jalen Brunson has been good in big moments, but he hasn't put up the big gaudy numbers that we've seen in the postseason.
Brunson's your MVP.
Okay. And is it far and away?
He's won you 2 games.
And OG's won you 1. So
OG's won you 1, but you wouldn't necessarily be there without Jalen Brunson, who's been the anchor of the team.
Okay.
Well, time to give me my flowers. Because I called it. Jalen Brunson is him. He's got that dog in him.
I was like, wait, we just went over this. I wasn't that wrong. And honestly,
you nailed it.
During the conversation that I was having watching the game, there was a couple people there saying that, I don't know that OG is not the MVP going into that, coming out of it. There's no question about it, dude. How to step up in a closeout game, written and illustrated by Jalen Brunson, is a New York Times bestseller.
I was a little unsure about it because I was like, well, he's won you 2 games. It's one more than OG's won you, so I guess it has to be Brunson. Well, now definitively, I can say it's Jalen Brunson.
Wow,
he's just that guy.
It was awesome, and we talked about this earlier in the bonus hour. The Becky Hammon comments: a short A player, however she worded it, will never lead a team in the NBA to a championship. however she phrased that exactly, it proves that your leader can come in any shape and size. He can lead in so many different ways. And when it gets to that big moment, you have to have a guy that's willing to take the ball on every single possession. And Jalen Brunson was that guy down the stretch. There was a point where he scored 13 consecutive in the fourth quarter. Do I have that number right? It was something like that. Either way, he was just not afraid to take a shot. Even the OG Anunoby tip back in game 4 that was so great is because Brunson was not afraid to take a deep three over 7'4" Victor Wembanyama, which pulls him out of the key. The inbounder can go without any worry about the great length that they have inside and go and tip that back in. So Brunson just changes the way that the court is set up because you have to be paying attention to him. You put your best defender, your longest defender, your double teams, whatever it is, throw all the weapons you can at him. You couldn't stop him. He was great. If both of those owners have a champion in another city, it's just going to make me laugh so much. Because the Dundon dysfunction will continue to plague people until we actually win a championship, and it will be hilarious. And it's funny how we find excuses to just be mad at people out of thin air. Oh, he's such a cheapskate. Just spent billions of dollars on a basketball team. Calm down. I don't think he's that cheap. But that's what I'm doing. Love to see the Hurricanes win this thing. They won one in 2007. Then they hit a lull. And Tom Dundon bought them, and they have not missed the postseason since then. But people had to check out of the hotel rooms early. Calm down. They didn't check out early. They checked out on time. Not like they put them up in a different hotel overnight. Just, can we mellow?
Again, optics aren't great. Go win games.
Well, again, they haven't played a game. He got them when they were in the postseason, but he has not put his fingerprints on this team yet.
You thought I was talking about the Blazers winning games. Well, our Carolina Hurricanes are now Stanley Cup champions. Shout out to Tom Dundon. Well, how are we feeling now that the Stanley Cup final is over and we can fully invest ourselves in the Dundon of it all?
The part that I missed on this opportunity over the weekend, the way that we love to bag on owners that you can't win with bad ownership. Who else won this weekend?
James Dolan.
Is there a worse owner in sports than James Dolan?
Can't think of one.
I don't know what the day-to-day of an owner is and how they affect the team. I don't know how it changes between sports and if you require a different owner in the NFL than you do in the NBA than you do in the NHL. What I do know is that when you win, it's very easy to praise the owner. When you lose, it's very easy to trash them. Picking them out as the target before they have done anything for your city, for your franchise, for any part of that seems insane to me. But as a Seahawks fan and a Blazers fan, paying plenty of attention to the Seattle media around a historic run to a Super Bowl with a general manager that they had nothing but faith in and kept him around for 2 full cycles of coaching and players to win a second Super Bowl seems like a very hands-off ownership approach. Yet the meddling and the not paying enough attention and the problems that Jody Allen gave to this team, you finally move on from her, and within a week you've already got problems with a new owner, is one of the more hysterical things. Tom Dundon is your NHL champion. Right now, he's going to get a ring for that. Jody Allen just got a ring with the team in Seattle for their Super Bowl. So congratulations to the 2 owners of the Blazers that we've had over the last couple months. James Dolan, we know, is a bad owner. He sat back and said, hey, let's figure out a way to make this work, and he didn't seem to meddle too much and let them build around the guys, and you got a leader in Jalen Brunson who was not the archetype to build a team around, just won you a championship. If anybody would have said that Brunson over Wembanyama would have been your pick at the beginning of this season, as it started matriculating through the finals and you just go, oh, maybe this is the way to go. We don't know. That's what makes sports so fun, is you can have all the arguments that you want to, but at the end of the day, it is settled on the court. Somebody gets a trophy. Somebody go home to refuel their gas tank or whatever Frenchie's doing. I couldn't tell you. Your owner just won a championship in a 6 games, in a 7-game series. That feels like it translates pretty well. I'm sorry that it's so difficult to translate the championship your last owner just won in football, but maybe, just maybe, Tom Dunn has earned the benefit of the doubt. Just maybe, possibly, we over-exaggerated the negative meddling that was given to us by Jody Allen. It's a possibility. I will put it out there that even bad owners can win, because we just saw one win an NBA championship.
And let me play devil's advocate for a second.
I love that you prefaced that so I don't yell at you, please.
Sounds like 10 more years of no more championships for the Blazers.
Hey,
it sounds like the Seahawks have a chance, and the Carolina Hurricanes got more chances, and the Blazers, well, have fun.
Are they closer to a championship now than they were before ownership took over?
No.
Okay. That's fair. But what proof do you have of that?
I can't prove it.
Yep, exactly.
I can't prove it on either side of it.
So you can be optimistic or you can be pessimistic. You wanted a new owner, you got a new owner. Your new owner's resume is a Stanley Cup, the other team that he's owned. But again, that matches the resume of your old owner. So
matches the resume of your old owner who did nothing but make sure that Seattle team was looking good every year.
Yeah. Well, maybe she loved that one more, but it sure felt like she didn't make a whole lot of changes when she got there. She left it to the president of football operations, just like she did with the basketball operations. And Neil O'Shea, you can say what you want, but he charmed a lot of people. Well, he was really bad to a lot of people.
Again,
he kept that job for a long time. Had he been the right guy, we obviously would have looked at it, but you can't. I don't think you can understand what that relationship was like. I'm confident that guy is a snake oil salesman because we kind of unearthed that and saw it play out, and he gets fired for a toxic work environment. But I'm sure that he turned on the charm when the owner came around to make sure he kept his job. He is actually in there was an article that I saw that Neil O'Shea is potentially in line for the Sixers job. How that guy gets rehired ever or gets brought up as a name.
From Daryl Morey to Neil O'Shea. Sorry, Philly.
This is what I'm saying. So you know the results of the Jody Allen era. You do not know what the results of the Tom Dunn era. And just because you pick them to fail and you're right, the chances are a lot higher that they're going to fail than they're going to succeed.
Again, it was pretty clear that Jody left, she left the older brother with a babysitter.
Yeah.
This younger brother, he's a latchkey kid. He gets out every once in a while.
Listen, there's two different. There's a babysitter that you have when mom and dad are just getting ready to leave the house. All right, Mr. Allen, Mrs. Allen, we'll take good care of your kids or whatever. And then you leave the house, they act totally different. Neil O'Shea acted one way, John Snyder acted another. So being tricked by a babysitter when you just need a night out, I don't blame the parents as much as I probably should. All right, let's do one more for the road. Today we've got Potato Aliens. It'll be great. We'll do that next. It is Happy Hour on 105.1 and the Fan Sports Network.
The Fan.
If you missed anything from this show, past shows, future shows, podcast, 1051thefan.com, odyssey.com, the Odyssey app, 1,474 sockeye yesterday. Let's go. Casey, anything we need to address from the text line or the YouTube chats?
Was planning to text in bring back in case you missed it. Well, it'll be back on Friday.
Oh, you're ready? Hey, back for more. All right. I love it. We'll work on some of the responses to that, and we'll make it go. And we'll work on that for Friday for everybody, except for we don't have a show on Friday, so we'll have to do it on Thursday because it's Juneteenth.
That's all I got for you.
Okay. Another 300 files have been declassified. I'm sorry, another 72 files have been declassified by the government about UFOs, bringing the total number of files to about 300 by the administration so far. The biggest news, not just flying saucers, not just amazing starships out there. Somewhere over the skies of Colorado, a flying potato was sighted. Yes, please tell me that if we have spaceships, that Star Wars was wrong, Star Trek was wrong, flying saucers and Men in Black, just giant opalescent potatoes floating in the sky. That is the aliens that I want. Bring the tater tots on. Thank you, Casey Smith. Appreciate it. A big thanks to everybody that listened. And, of course, thank you, Isaac Ropp. We're all done for now. Bye-bye.